Hey everybody, Sean here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in Mega Man 9, grabbing the World Warrior achievement. This is defeat every single type of enemy. We will be doing this one stage at a time, starting off with Galaxy Man's stage. And the reason we are starting on this stage is because it's the easiest to do with just the Mega Buster. So move forward, you should have your first enemy in the form of the UFO. They appear all across the stage, so don't worry about missing one. Then you have the classic enemy, the Meteors. You have to shoot them while they pop up, and then you have this part. You are going to hit up these elevator things and then take it to the top. You have this enemy who's very annoying, who's the grabber. It pretty much grabs you and tries to drag you into the spikes. The trick to these guys is to know where they spawn and just inch your way forward and then shoot them before they can grab you, and that will also count as one towards the achievement. Then moving on here, you have the eyeball things. You have to shoot them. They split up into 4, and then you have to shoot one of the 4 in order to count both towards the achievement. Then you're going to make your way up here. You have the shield guys who are just going to move back and forth. Make sure you shoot them from behind. Then we have the boss himself. He's actually pretty easy. Probably the easiest boss to defeat with just the Mega Buster. And that'll be it for stage number 1. You should get your first Robot Master weapon and the first boss done towards the achievement. Then we can move on to Splash Woman, who's another easy boss to defeat with just the Mega Buster. Start it up. Now that we have the Black Hole Bomb, we can actually use it to take out the first enemy, who are going to be the Mines. These guys are annoying because you can't kill them with just the Mega Buster. You have to use either the Black Hole Bomb or the Tornado Blow to kill them. But since we fought Galaxy Man first, we should have that first requirement out of the way. Drop down to fight the octopus things. You have to shoot the bottom to get them to pop up. Then you have to shoot them in the face. Another note to keep in mind here is if an enemy shoots a projectile that you can destroy with your Mega Buster, that will also count towards the achievement. So in this situation, you want to make sure you shoot the octopus's ink pellet before it can hit you, and that will count towards the achievement. You want to drop down on the left side, grab the 1-up if you want to. Next enemy is going to be the torpedo fish. Just drop on the bottom. There should be one that pops up right behind you. There's some more mines here in case you missed the first one. Remember, you need the Black Hole Bomb to kill it. There's also the first shooter enemy, which is pretty easy to take out with just a Mega Buster. He'll shoot out a bomb that will explode in 6 directions. Just stay in the diagonal parts and you should be able to avoid it. And then you just need to defeat Splash Woman, and that's going to be it for her stage in terms of original enemies. On to the next stage, we are going to tackle Concrete Man next. There is a slew of new enemies once you start up. It's a little tricky to get, so practice your jumping and shooting. You have these owl things that drop rocks on you. The rocks will count as an enemy, and the bird itself will also count as an enemy. So try to get the timing right to jump high enough to shoot the bird. You can kind of get it at this juncture of the stage right here. So you just want to try your best to jump and get it while the birds fly low, and make sure you get the rocks. Then you have this part with the pits. Make sure you shoot the enemies that pop out. You just need to stand on the edge and keep firing, and then one should pop up. Then you are safe to clear the jump. You have your first cannon. Same principle applies as the octopus. Make sure you shoot the cannonball before taking out the cannon. If you miss, there are more cannons later on, so don't worry. Move up, you have the floor sentries, just like the mines. These can only be destroyed using the Black Hole Bomb at this point, so just use that to take them out. And then we can move up top to fight our first mini-boss, who is going to be the elephants. First one's really easy, just stand on the ladder and just spam him with Mega Buster shots. Then the second one, you actually have to dodge its ball. So the trick is to shoot it while facing it and then try to jump over its ball. It kind of has an arc pattern to it, so just try to figure out the pattern and you should be able to get it down pretty easily. So make sure you try to be a little bit careful, since it will pull you in when it tries to suck the ball back. The third stage is a lot harder since you have these gaps in the floor you need to mine, so careful not to fall down. You can kind of camp the corner. Another good thing to use is the laser trident, since you can shoot it through the ball. So if you don't mind wasting the ammo on it, you should use it in this situation. On to the next screen, you have the spiders. These guys are actually pretty easy. Just make sure they don't get on top of you, because it's pretty hard to kill them when they are next to you. So try to shoot it as soon as it drops down. Drop down to this part. There are more cannons here, so if you miss the cannonball, you can get it. Make sure you shoot it before it shoots you. Once you get past that part, you have the tree guys. These guys are really annoying since they shoot these 2 arcs, so I just like using the Black Hole Bomb to get rid of them. And then finally, we just have Concrete Man himself, whose weakness is going to be the laser trident. So make sure if you don't use it on the elephants, you save them all for the boss fight. Next up, we have Jewel Man stage. You're going to have 2 new enemies at the start of the stage. So drop down, you have the repeating meteors, but you also have the spike wheel things. They're going to fly on in, and once they land, they'll turn into this spike wheel that will move back and forth between the stage. So try to be a little careful with those guys. Make sure you shoot them before they can land. If they do land, you are going to have to wait till they bounce off the wall in order to kill them, because your shot will go over them. You also have the minecart guys who take a lot of hits to kill. They do go down in one shot from the concrete shot, so use that if you are too frustrated. And also you have the repeat of the cannons, which you can also try to get the cannonball if you don't have it already. A trick with the cannons is to just stand directly underneath them and just jump straight up and shoot when there's a break in the fire. Once you get to the end of the first part, you're going to drop down. You have the spider guys again, in case you missed the one from the previous stage. Make sure you get them. You have another floor sentry here. Remember, they can only be taken out with the black hole bomb at this point, so make sure you do that if you haven't gotten already. Once you get past the swinging parts, which is really frustrating, you have the next mini-boss, who is going to be the rock dude. Just dodge the rocks. He's going to jump down. Make sure you jump before he lands so you don't get stunned. Then he's going to go back up. Make sure you look where he's going to pop up next, and you want to be on the opposite side of the screen. So when he drops down, you make sure you jump. You want to jump high, and you want to land before he does so you don't get stunned, and then just unload on him and make sure you jump over him. Pretty simple boss fight once you get the pattern down. Once you get past him, you're going to drop down, fight to the diamond dudes. You have to shoot them while they're opened and watch out for their shots. Once you drop down again, you have a repeat of the minecart enemies, as well as a repeat from last stage, which is the gap enemies. Make sure you shoot them before you jump. Then when you get to right before the boss room, you have your first stomper. These guys hit for a ton of damage, so be a little careful. Most of the time, it's probably best to avoid them. However, we do have to kill at least one for the achievement, so make sure you do that. Just back up and shoot, and you should be good. And Jewel Man himself is actually pretty easy. Just set down a black hole bomb, watch him walk into it, and he should go down in a few shots. Once he does, you can move on to the next stage, which is going to be Plug Man. What you want to do once you start up the stage is you want to quickly equip your jewel satellites. This will make you pretty much invincible for the first part, since the enemies will just fly into you and they'll die. You have this first enemy, who is a great source of farming bolts if you need that for any extra money or to buy anything. Very, very useful for the end game stuff. You also have the electric sentry, who also goes down just by touching the jewel satellite. So this first part, you just have to worry about jumping and making sure you get one of each enemy type. Once you get this done, head to the next screen, and then the screen after that has some more repeats. You have the meteors as well as the cannon again, so make sure you get those if you don't already. After the block puzzle room, you have this room with a bunch of static TV screens. Whenever you walk past one of these, it should spawn a shadow clone, and you have to kill these guys as well. It's a little hard to fight them here since the room is pretty small, but if you drop down into the next area, what you can do is you can hit up this screen, jump back up, and then hit him with the black hole bomb, and that will easily take him out. And there's also a bunch more later on in the level. This is the last room before the boss fight. You have another repeat of the Stomper. You can use the black hole bomb to do some damage, but once again, best to probably avoid him unless you don't have him already. So once you take him out, we are going to fight Plug Man. Just use the jewel satellite. He's also pretty easy. Just deflect his plug shots and just hit him with the shield whenever there's no shots on screen. And it's at this point where you should unlock the Rush Jet, which will help us take on the two harder of the platforming stages, which is Tornado Man and Hornet Man. We're going to do Tornado Man's stage first since he's next up in the boss lineup. Just climb the first ladder. You have the balloon guys. I'm pretty sure you have to kill them both methods, so try to shoot the bottom. You have to be a little careful with your shot, but if you can shoot him in the bottom part, he should go down in 3 hits, and he won't fly around like crazy. He can also die if you shoot him in the balloon part in 1 hit. However, he'll fly all around and try to hit you. Once you climb up, you also have the meteors again. Just take them out and then get to the top screen. You have another one of the balloon guys where you can get the alternate method here. Try to be careful not to get hit if you do go that route, but you can also kill him while he's deflating. Drop down. Once you're in the ice room, you have a repeat of the shield guys. Black hole bomb helps out a bunch so you don't slip into the spikes. Once you get past that, you have the first of the gun guys. Classic Mega Man enemy. These guys are a little frustrating to fight since you need a lot of patience because you can only shoot them when their shields are down, which means you have to shoot them before they shoot you. You can black hole bomb if you're impatient, or you can actually stand there and have a nice little standoff. But once you get to the top, you have this very missable enemy, which is the umbrella. So try to get one of these guys before you go platforming because it's very easy to miss one of these guys. So just turn around, shoot them, and then move on to the boss room. Once you get here, Tornado Man's pretty easy. You just have to wait till he's touching either the floor or the wall and just spam the plug ball, which is Plug Man's weapon, in his direction. Once he goes down, we can move on to Magma Man's stage. This one's pretty straightforward. It's going to start up with a bunch of pretty tricky jumps. The trick is to jump high once you go over this pillar. Turn around, make sure you get the lava squirting dude. Once you get here, you have the lava sentry. An easy way to take these guys out is to use the plug ball. Just shoot it. It should latch onto the wall and then roll down and kill it. You have a few of them in this first part and then towards the end as well. Once you get up here, you have the totem pole enemies. Just Mega Buster them. Stand far back so you can dodge their fire and just shoot them in the face, and you should be good. Then when you get to this part, you have your next mini-boss, who's going to be the dragon. Pretty easy. Just use the black hole bomb, shoot it at his face. It should absorb all of his flames, and that will do a ton of damage to him. His flames will also count as an enemy, so make sure you try to suck one up using the black hole bomb as well. So it should take 3 or 4 shots to take him out depending on where you land your shots, but once he goes down, you should move on to the next part. Quickly turn around, you have one of those lava sentries again. You can get one. I believe the ones that appear on land are different from the lava ones, so make sure you get at least one of those before you head to the boss fight. Boss fight's also pretty easy, just spam Tornado Blow, and he should go down in like 5 hits. Now we can move on to the final Robot Master, so start up Hornet Man's stage. You want to start off by using the concrete shot. This will make taking out the minecart guys easier since they go down in 1 concrete shot opposed to 4 Mega Buster shots. Then you have the flower pots. These are another enemy with shootable ammo, so we are actually going to skip that for the first part since it's a little hard to shoot the missiles in this area since the jumps are so tight. So my best advice is to shoot the flower pots from way back here. There's 2 of them. There's that first one where you can get in the corner, and then there's this one where you can shoot right on the edge of the screen. So make sure you get those 2. We'll worry about the flower missiles later. It's way easier just to kill them right there like that. Once you get past your first bridge, you want to quickly equip the black hole bomb right here. The scissor enemies are going to come flying in. You have to kill them in both forms, when they are a full pair of scissors as well as when they are individual halves. The best way to kill them the second way is to just use the jewel satellite and just walk into them. There's a second one here in case you missed the first one, and then we can move on to this screen. This is the only type of enemy that you can't kill in the game, however its ammo does count towards the achievement. So equip the black hole bomb and then just use it to absorb the ammo. The way these enemies work is they'll only shoot if you shoot them, so just shoot the Mega Buster, then get it to shoot its shots, and then just hit them with the black hole bomb. Then you have to use its ammo to blow up the floor in order to progress. But once you get down here, you should have the next mini boss fight against the plant. It's going to be weak against the Magma Bazooka, but since we're saving that for Hornet Man, you can also use the concrete shot to get some of those difficult diagonal shots off. But another piece of advice is to just use the Mega Buster and shoot directly across. Once you take it out, you can move on to the next part. Once you get past the tricky platforming segment with the bridges, you're going to drop down here. You have another one of the minecarts, but you have another type of flower pot as well, which is the cactus. I recommend just using the jewel satellite and just tanking all of its hits. You should be invincible with the shield up. You can also destroy the pot again, but since we have it already, we should be good for this part. Once you drop down here, you'll have more flower pots. Each type of flower will count as a different type of enemy. So you have the tulip looking flower again, as well as the sunflower looking one. Make sure you get both of them. And we can finally move on to right before the boss room. You have another one of the stomper enemies. It's actually pretty hard to get past since it's so close to the ceiling, but there is a one up there if you need it, and you can always farm items between the 2 flower pots right before it. Once you get to the boss fight, you have Hornet Man, who's actually a really easy boss. Make sure you also take out his hornets, which also count as an enemy. Just use the Magma Bazooka. It shoots in a spread, so you should be able to hit them. And it's going to be a pretty easy boss fight since Hornet Man doesn't have any other attacks. Just make sure you jump over him when he walks past you, and then we can move on to the first Wily stage. So you have a bunch of repeat enemies at the start. Jewel Satellite makes you pretty much invincible for this first part. Gets the floor sentries, the owls with the rocks, and then the gap dudes. Then once you get to the end of this first part, you have the bulldozer guy, who's going to be the last original enemy in this stage. Laser Trident can shoot through his shield, so I recommend using that instead of the traditional way. Then you have the first boss, which is the spike pushers. All you have to do is just shoot the spike balls into them and then just try to not touch the spike balls. Spike balls will result in an instant death, and you just want to repeat this pattern for the entire fight. That should wrap up the first Wily stage once you defeat the last spike pusher. Moving on to Wily stage number 2, your first original enemy looks like a repeat, however it's not. It's going to be the eyeball things. These are going to be the yellow ones. The green ones will pop out 4 miniatures once you kill them. The yellow ones will pop out 3. And just like their variants, you have to make sure you kill both types, the regular as well as the mini. So once you get past that, on the next screen you have this enemy that's very easy to miss. So make sure you equip the black hole bomb and make sure you kill it before it flies off the screen. It's going to be the spotlight enemy. They'll pretty much create those fake platforms that you'll fall through, so be a little careful. And then after that, we should be good up until the next boss fight. You have the boss fight against the Shark Helicarrier. Make sure you equip the Jewel Shield to absorb the 3 shots. Then you want to switch over to the Laser Trident and then shoot it while the hatch is open. You can only shoot it when the hatch is down, so you want to switch between the Jewel Shield and the Laser Trident. On to phase 2 of the fight, just equip the Magma Bazooka and try to shoot the 2 hatches where the shark missiles come out. You also have to kill at least 1 of the shark missiles in order to count towards this achievement. Then the final stage is against the mouth of the Helicarrier. Just use the Hornets, and when you run out of those, just switch to either the Magma Bazooka or the Laser Trident. Then we can move on to Wily stage 3. The only original enemy is going to be the fake 1-up, which pops up right here after the anti-gravity segment. It looks like a 1-up, but it's actually a Meteor. Same thing, wait till it pops up and just shoot it. And the other original enemy is going to be the stage 3 boss, who is going to be the Twin Devil. Pretty tough fight, however, if you could figure out the pattern, you could actually do this whole thing without taking a hit. So once you get that done, we can move on to Wily stage 4. The only enemies in this stage are going to be the Meteors as well as the boss rush, and then after that you just need to worry about Dr. Wily. Just defeat him in his 3 forms. Deflect the eggs for the first, concrete shot for the second, and a combination of tornado, Hornet buddies, and Magma Bazooka for the third. Once you manage to defeat Wily, let the credits play out, and once they're over, you should be good for your achievement. There it is, 5 gamer score, and that's all there is to it.